This video shows project invoicing upon consumption in the project module. I've created a special project here which I've simply called consumption. As you can see, when I go into the transactions on the project here, no transactions have yet been posted. However, I have created some journal lines which I have allocated to this consumption project. I've added some cancelling and some accounting hours here on the following employee with the following quantity of hours. I have a cost price and a sales price. So I'm ready to post this journal. No need to simulate it. These could also be posted directly in a journal in the general ledger, in the vendor module, and also from the Uniconta app. But now I've posted these journals from a project journal, these journal lines for a project journal. I click on my project. I'm going to press refresh. Now if I select edit, I can take a look at the status of this project. So now we can see that we have a labor cost here with a cost value and a sales value. We also have an uninvoiced amount here of revenue, 14,000, and we're currently showing a margin therefore of 7,500. Now I want to invoice exactly this consumption right away, so I can close that. I select the project. And I select the invoice button. I'm going to select create order. I don't need to enter anything here, the system does that automatically. I go to order lines. So the system has created two order lines for me. Now I can create the text for the hours worked, for example. The 10 hours, I'm going to call them advisory on this project per agreement. And then 3 hours were consultancy with CEO, for example. So now we can select the Create Invoice button. We could select a simulation here because perhaps I'd like to check the invoice by preview before I post it and send it. So here's our performer. Performer is in Danish to the Danish customer. That's fine, so I now want to send the invoice without a preview. The invoice has been posted. Now I can go to the project and refresh. If I now click on edit, I can review the status of the project once more. Now we can see we have a revenue of 14,000, our margin is 7,500. If we go back and look at the transactions on this project here, we can see one very important thing in the Uniconta project module, which is that the sales value is now 0. Now let's take a look at an example in which we change the invoice. I open my project journal again, and here I have my two lines ready since I set the journal up to keep these lines after posted them last time. I can just enter my advisory text, consultancy, for example, or whatever I'd like to write there. And then I can just post that journal this time without a simulation. Journal has been posted. So I can go back to my project, I will refresh, and I'll click on Edit to check the status of the project. So I can see I have a revenue of 14,000, but now I have another uninvoiced amount of 14,000 here. So I can also see that there's an increased labor cost and sales value on the project. So now I can create an invoice once again from the project by selecting Create Order over here and go to the order lines. I'd like to just highlight one really important aspect here on the order lines. We can see it if we click on Edit Order, which is that when we selected Create Order, Unicounter automatically selects the Invoicing Revenues category 87 here, which is my invoicing category. So that's to say that it settles the transactions that are registered on the project. So we go back to the order lines again. We can always edit these lines, so if we decide that we actually want to bill 12 hours instead of 10 here, we can change it to 12. So now we have actually changed the price of the project. We can see this if we, here on the order lines, click on the Adjustments button. So we can see we have an adjustment here of 2,200 on the project. Now I'm going to invoice this order. No need to simulate it. So now that it is invoiced, I can go back to the project and click on Refresh. Again, I can take a look at the transactions on this project. We can see there is an extra transaction here for that adjustment that we made. And we've invoiced 16,200 in total. And we've received 2,200 more than we expected. And of course, the very important observation is that, again, the sales value is 0 since the project has been fully invoiced. So let's take a look at the status of the project once again over here. So we now see we have a total revenue on the project of 30,200, a margin of 17,200, and it's all labor. And that was a review of invoicing upon consumption.